Okay, beta. So appendix. So where did we find appendix from the cecum? You have found a narrow worm-like tubular diverticulum, isn't it? Which is arising from the posterior medial wall of the cecum 2 centimeters below. If you just measure roughly, it will be 2 centimeters below the iliocecal junction. Okay, so narrow worm-like tubular diverticulum. It is like earthworm. Okay, coming from the posterior medial wall of the cecum 2 centimeters below the iliocecal junction. Okay, then it's actually a part of cecum where 3 tinea coli merge to form outer longitudinal muscle layer. So it's an outpouching or pocketing from cecum. So it is suspended by peritoneal fold. We already know this. I told you many times. What is the name of this peritoneum? Mesoappendix. Okay. So breadth is less and length is more. What is the length I told you? Ranging from?
Up to 20 centimeters.
Very
Like
good. Very
2 to
good.
20.
2 to 20 centimeters. Okay. So length is more, therefore body of the appendix kinks. Kinks means it folds on itself so many times. Okay. The free border of mesoappendix, wherever it is ending. See, this is the free border of the mesoappendix. So it starts folding like this, like a worm, earthworm. Hence it is called as vermiform appendix. So do you remember I talked about McBurney's point? This is actually important 3 marks question. Okay. So McBurney described location and the clinical feature of appendicitis. Okay. So what is this
Anteposterior iliacs.
So this is surface marking what we are showing here. So in so you are drawing one line which is extending from anterior superior iliac spine to the umbilicus. Anterior superior iliac spine to the umbilicus. And if you just take at the junction of medial 2/3 and lateral 1/3, this is medial 2/3 and this is lateral 1/3. At this junction, you will find there is maximum tenderness if the person is suffering with the inflammation of appendix. So that condition is actually called as appendicitis. So when the patient comes to you, you just need to palpate here, and if the person is kinking with pain, if he is not letting you touch at all, such severe pain, then you can think like it may be a case of appendicitis. And of course, always we have to go with further investigations. This is only a preliminary thing with which we can start with. Okay, so junction of medial 2/3 and lateral 1/3. Okay, so that is. Now come, you already told me the length of appendix measures from 2 to 20 centimeters. The average length is 9 centimeters. Okay. The length increases in young adults and diminishes after mid-adult life. That means it keeps growing till that age. Okay. So when you observe for large intestine, we saw the thickened longitudinal band, tinea, we saw this puckering, Haustre, we saw appendices epiploicae. But are we finding any such features here?
No.
Are we finding? No. Okay, it doesn't have tinea, it doesn't have circulations, it doesn't have appendices epiploicae, what we found with large intestine. Now coming to the presenting parts of appendix, it has base, whole thing is body, and this particular point is tip. Base, body and tip. And the fold of peritoneum is mesoappendix. So where is the base attached? To the posterior medial wall of cecum, about 2 centimeters below the iliocecal junction. Okay, body is narrow tube. It contains a canal which opens into the cecum. Okay, then the opening is guarded by a valve. The mucosal fold here, I told you appendicular orifice. We can also use the word valve of Gerlach. Okay, this is the tip. It is least vascular. That means it is not receiving much blood supply. And of course, it is actually directed in various positions. Position of appendix itself may come as 5 marks question. Appendicular opening as 3 marks question. Cecum appendix together 15 marks question. Overall, this topic is very, very important. Now coming to, see, so many appendices we do not have, only like to show the various position, I kept this slide. So we have subcecal, Okay, subcecal means what? It is below. Okay, you call it as paracolic or 11 o'clock. Retrocecal, retro means behind. Okay, it comes something like this, behind the cecal. Okay, it comes to up to 12 o'clock position of hour end of the clock. Okay, then we have splenic position. It may be in front of the ileum, you call it as pre-ileal. The appendix may go behind the ileum, you call it as post-ileal. It is corresponding to 2 o'clock position in the hour end of the clock. Then promontory, if you remember, I have shown you in the sacrum. At the junction of fifth lumbar vertebra with the first sacral vertebra, the body shows anterior prominence, that I have used promontory. So if it is moving, if its tip of the appendix is, if it is directed towards the promontory, you call it as promontoric. If the tip of the appendix is moving towards pelvic cavity, you call it as pelvic position, which is usually 4 o'clock. If it is moving towards mid-inguinal point, usually it is 6 o'clock. Sometimes it may be present anywhere, you call it as ectopic position. Okay, all these are various positions of appendix. Okay, so different pictures I kept. Okay, pre-ileal, post-ileal. Now coming to subcecal. Okay, just below the cecum. So 11 o'clock position. So 2% appendices lie below the cecum and tip ascends by the side of ascending colon. That means tip will be moving like this. Okay. Retro. Retro means what? Behind the cecum.
Yeah.
Okay, behind the peritoneum. Okay. So and it is actually the tip may always also move up to the 12 o'clock position of the hour end of the clock. That's the reason we call it as 12 o'clock position. Okay, sometimes the tip may reach this side. We have right kidney, isn't it? And towards the right kidney, just below the right lobe of the liver, actually we have right kidney. That's why it may either sometimes reach liver anteriorly or right kidney posteriorly. Okay, so we have splenic position, which can be, I told you, in front of the ileum pre-ileal, behind the ileum posterior. Okay, it is all about tip. If tip is passing upwards and medially in front or behind the terminal part of ileum. So pre-ileal variety is actually dangerous because inflammation from appendix spreads to the general peritoneal cavity. Suppose if this position of appendix is there and the person is suffering with appendicitis, unfortunately appendix has ruptured, obviously the contents of appendix may enter into the peritoneal cavity, leading to spread of infection. That's why the pre-ileal variety is generally considered as most dangerous. Okay. Now this position where tip is pointing towards the promontory of the sacrum, you call it as 3 o'clock position or promontoric position. Of course, it's rare. Tip is directed horizontally. Pelvic is this 4 o'clock position. Tip is pointing towards 4 o'clock. This is the second commonest position. So tip is
Of all these positions, which one is the most common one?
common is the subcecal.
Okay. Okay.
So in the tip here in the pelvic position, what is the hour hand of the clock? It is corresponding with 4 o'clock. Okay. So tip is directed downwards and medially and crosses the right pelvic brim. Brim you will understand once I didn't take bony pelvis yet. No, inside part of the pelvis is actually called as pelvic brim. Okay. So because in case of females, if the appendix is pointing in this direction, it may be related to uterine tube, ovary and broad ligament. Okay. In those areas we will have. Mid-inguinal point is 6 o'clock. Okay, very rare. You can see here, tip is directed vertically downwards. Okay. Ectopic, that means it can be anywhere. Like you have seen ectopic position of cecum. When we were discussing cecum, it can be present in the left iliac fossa, umbilical region, hepatic region, where so many places I told you. So like that, correspondingly with the cecum, appendix also will change its position. It will go along with cecum. So it is due to error of rotation of midgut. So appendix and cecum may be situated in the left iliac fossa instead of right iliac fossa, umbilical or subhepatic regions. Okay. So what is this meso appendix? It's a triangular peritoneal fold. It looks like a triangle, isn't it? It is entirely covering the appendix and it is actually continuation of this peritoneal layer. What is this peritoneum?
Mesentery.
Very good. Mesentery. The same mesentery is now continuing to enclose the cecum and also appendix. Okay. Can you see the blood vessels are also entering here? These are appendicular vessels.
Appendicular.
Very good. So they are passing along. This is the free margin. This is the attached margin of mesoappendix. So along the free margin of the mesoappendix, you can see the appendicular vessels are entering. Okay. So the appendicular artery is the blood supply, which is the branch coming from inferior division of ileocholic. MRI. I is standing for ileocholic artery. Okay. It is entering into the mesoappendix. We know like it is a branch of superior mesenteric artery. Okay. So same thing is given. Venous drainage. Again, this will enter into the superior mesenteric vein. Okay, actually the anterior cecal vein, then into the superior mesenteric vein, then into the portal vein. So finally, the appendicular vein is draining into portal vein. Lymphatic drainage, it's also draining into superior mesenteric lymph nodes. Nerve supply, superior mesenteric plexus. Parasympathetic will be vagus. Now coming to applied anatomy, the inflammation of appendix is called appendicitis. Okay, appendicitis. Surgeons make a lot of money out of appendicitis, whether it is through appendicitis or not. Very sad to tell. Like of course, doctors have also become little commercial, isn't it? So whenever patient comes with the pain in the right iliac fossa, and when we check with McBurney's point, of course, even if it is ruled out, because appendix is usually considered as vestigial organ, isn't it? Even if appendix is not there, a person can lead a normal life. And of course, if it is severe, and it may rupture, and if it is causing peritoneal infection, it may lead to death also. Both the extremes are there, but as doctors in future, you should decide it properly whether you really need to undertake surgery or not. It really matters. Okay? So I'm showing you different, you are finding these are all appendices. This is fecolic. When sometimes if you find the contents of cecum leaking into the appendix, and if they form stones like, then you call it as fecolic. Okay. So this is how generally the appendix is exposed when you are doing the laparotomy. Okay. Laparoscopic procedure, small hole, identify it, like pull it out, ligate it, cut it, and remove it. Okay. So that surgery is appendicectomy. Okay. You just ligate it and you just cut and remove it. Okay. So fecolith, I told you, if there is any obstruction in the lumen of appendix, that is actually called as fecolith. Okay. So it may be due to inflammation of lymphoid tissue, or sometimes when you have taken some investigation like barium, that barium may get accumulated there, and after some time it may cause inflammatory change and it may come out like fecolith. Sometimes vegetable or fruit seeds also are parasites also may obstruct. Okay, all these are different pictures which are showing us how this is identified, how it is held and it is cut and removed. Okay, so this is fecolith you are finding here. Okay. So basically, though vermiform appendix is considered as vestigial organ, do you think really it is vestigial?
Yes.
Actually, appendix, when you see histology of appendix like this in this picture, it also has mucosa, submucosa, muscular layer, and serosa. When you see the submucosa and also the lamina propria of the mucosal layer, you are finding so much of bluish lymphatic aggregates. That means it has so much of lymphatic nodules. That's the reason appendix is generally considered as abdominal tonsils. Generally, we have seen palatine tonsils in the oral cavity. Similarly, we have in the appendix also, in the wall of appendix, lot of lymphoid tissue is there. So that when you have studied about fecoliths, generally you see seeds are entering, vegetables are entering, barium enema also may enter, anything can enter. In such circumstances, generally this lymphatic tissue will take an active role to kill the microorganisms and see that appendix is not infected. Okay, it is overall protecting the abdominal visceral organs, because if appendix is inflamed or infected and if it is rupturing, it will cause infection in the peritoneum. That's the reason appendix is called as abdominal tonsil. That's why you should be very careful whether to plan for the removal or not. You should be judicious so that we do not harm the patient. Okay. So, though it is not so much beneficial, but still we should see that we don't remove appendix unless it is really required. Okay. So as future doctors, we should have ethical and moral values also, no? So that's it. Okay, so we'll stop here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.